So a few months ago, I posted on Facebook that I had been learning all these really interesting sex ed facts, like that I had figured out that there were gaps in my sex ed information, and so I was doing my own adult sex ed, and did anybody want to know about it? And a bunch of people said yes, and I never made it happen, never found a time for all of that to do. So while I stand here making tacos, I figured I could talk at a camera. Because there are things. There are really important things that really need to be known. And I find it absolutely appalling that I never learned them, and I think everybody needs to learn them, so I'm just going to talk about them on the internet and maybe somebody will listen. So the first thing that I think everybody needs to know is the clit is not little bitty. The clit is big. It's just on the inside. The clit has, the tip that we know of is just, it's the glands. It's just the tip, and there's a shaft behind it that goes back to the pubic bone. And then there's legs that run, that they're actually connected to the pubic bone, as far as I can tell. And all of that is erectile tissue. So it you can't feel it until you get excited, and then suddenly you can feel it, and it's really good. Although I haven't been able to find I can't feel the legs personally. But that's not all. But wait, there's more. So in addition to that shape, then there are the bulbs. They look like balls. No, they're, again, they're on the inside. They're erectile tissue, and they're kind of underneath the lips. And so, the labia. And so when a woman gets excited, she gets all puffy. That's those bulbs getting excited and full of blood and, all happy loosey-goosey. There are additional erectile tissue beyond that even. There's a little spongy pad right inside the perineum. So at the, back edge of the vagina, kind of between the vagina and the anus, on the inside, right there, is kind of a thick, squishy pad. And then the walls kind of thin out. But kind of right at the surface there, you have another spongy erectile tissue. So you have, women have as much or possibly more erectile tissue than men. It's just on the inside, and it doesn't do one of these big ol' hey baby kind of things. And so it's not as well known, but you definitely want puffy. The other thing to know is the way that the bulbs work. The bulbs and then that little spongy bit at the perineum, all of those get nice and fat when she's excited, and it makes kind of a cuff around the vagina, which means that kind of no matter what size he is, if you're playing penis and vagina, which I don't anymore, but maybe you do, but it means that whatever size he is, there's cuff to give a little bit of wonderful friction. And the other thing to know is that when a woman gets excited, her clit retracts. It's actually attached to other things up in there. We'll talk about that some other time. But when a woman gets excited, her clit, which is kind of sticking out from under the hood, goes back up in there so that it doesn't get smashed around with all the banging. It's protective, which is a really good thing. So that is step one of adult sex ed that everybody in the entire world needs to know, is the clit is big. It has as much or more than a penis. And you gotta get a woman puffy. There is a stage past puffy that goes into spongy. We may talk about that sometime too. But first and foremost, you gotta get puffy.